they're not able to attend? Just curious. No.
Farah said she may not be able to make it, but she'll try. But
Thank you for
she and Diane both sent in their written vote.
thank you for the information.
Oh, so well, Diane should be coming, though, right?
Yes, but I think she copied
Yeah,
it
she
on that,
did.
right?
That was
Yeah.
more that was I think so I could break them into groups, but
Okay.
as far as so if Farah doesn't come,
She said
then
she designated Sheldon as her surrogate.
okay. Perfect. Hi, Becky.
Hi, Maureen.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good.
I just made it.
Good afternoon, guys.
Good
How you
afternoon.
doing?
How's it going, everyone?
Going.
What's going on?
think we'll give a couple minutes to see if anyone else comes in. Hi, Michelle. Okay, I don't want to take up everyone's time, so I'm going to call this meeting to order and thank you for taking the time to be here this afternoon. I let's see, I do have a couple of things to go over. I don't know. I'm going to hand it over to John first, and then I'll take it back. Do you have any opening remarks? No? Okay.
Nope. Go ahead, Maureen.
All right. So, just there are a couple of I guess housekeeping regarding the report. Um, before we get into voting on the recommendations. So I was there are just a couple of recommendations that first of all versus last year. Last year I had the recommendations in an appendix, and there's a recommendation that maybe instead that we should put the recommendations in the body of the report. I mean, not the responses to the recommendations. So instead of having everyone's response as an appendix, we put them into the body of the report so that you can see the recommendation, a synopsis of the recommendation, and then all the way down will be everyone's responses. So it's that option, or to have it at the end as we did last year. I don't really have an opinion either way. It's just that I don't want to make the report one way and then have objections afterwards and then have to change it. So I just wanted people's thoughts on that. Do we have any? Sheldon.
Yeah, thanks. By the way, I'm sorry I was late. I had the wrong link. My fault.
Oh,
I think what you were saying is that last time we did the report had the recommendations of the council voted on the formal, and then all the comments were by everybody were
in the
separate.
appendix.
Yeah.
As an
Yeah.
appendix, right?
And I think that's the better way to go because basically, it sounds like, I'm not sure, but it sounds like what you guys are going to do is you're going to have all the comments will be there. I mean, everybody's comments will be there, but that's going to be very confusing if it's thrown in with recommendations. It will be, it sort of takes away from these, but these are the official recommendations. And then there's viewpoints and all viewpoints in the back. Some are consistent with the voting, some are not consistent with the voting, which is fine. Trying to be, give as much fairness to everybody to have their views expressed. But these are the formal recommendations of the council, so I think they should be separate and very clear and, early on in the report. That's my view.
Okay. David?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing Sheldon just said, so I agree with Sheldon.
Okay. Um, so do we want to vote on this?
I mean, unless there's
Or-
like an objection to it, I mean, do we need to vote on it? I mean, unless someone else really wants it included differently than last year.
Sorry, my phone is, um, okay, yeah, if, we did have a request, so, I don't know, maybe we'll just vote real quickly. Um, so, all in favor of keeping the recommendations as we had last year as an appendix?
Not the record, I think you said it again.
Oh, I'm sorry, I keep doing that. The responses to the recommendations as an appendix.
Aye.
Okay.
Yes, aye.
And then opposed, abstain.
Abstained.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. And then the other request was just the order of the recommendations, that we order them in 3 groups. So I mean together, but have them I guess designated as recommendations from last year, revised recommendations from last year, and new recommendations. So have it kind of separated out that way, just for ease of looking at the recommendations. Again, I don't have an opinion on this. I just want to make sure everyone's okay with it. So I don't have to go back and make changes. Do we have any?
What would be the
objections?
purpose of doing that though? Like what does it, how does it benefit the report?
I'm not sure. I mean, like, the purpose of the report is to go to the legislators and to the committee, so I don't know. It might make it easier for them to keep track of what we had last year versus this year, but otherwise, I don't know.
I'm just trying to understand the purpose of doing it that way. I don't know if I fully understand why to, I guess, premise it in some way like this is a new recommendation versus old recommendation. Aren't the recommendations the recommendations? I don't know. Maybe someone else has an opinion. Maybe Sheldon has an opinion. I don't know.
I'm just keeping, otherwise I'm gonna keep them as is, in the order that we have them, which isn't any particular order either. This would just be more, organized, I guess. I mean, if we have no objections, then I'll
Yeah,
take the
I
recommend.
think you have to go with the intent of what the purpose of the report, how it was outlined with the committee members, and to those points. They have last year's report. They can see it doesn't matter. You're resubmitting the report again and doing your summation.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, well, thank you. And this, Diane, I'm not even sure that you want me to bring this up, but just regarding the final reports from the industry and for Becky, Diane, you had mentioned that if we include your December's information, your December data, that you would need an extension into January.
I wouldn't be able to pull it up for the December numbers to get it to close out until, because it's year end and the fact the very first week is inventory for the companies, even from the motion to the other ones, which is pretty typical at the close of the year. As soon as I can get the year end report would be January 12th. So I don't know if that's going to be an issue or if that's going to be a problem. You guys have been getting every single month, so we have a summation roll up between the companies that we can access because we've been doing it monthly, even though it always says annually in the report. We've been submitting every month. Is that necessary? Is it not? Don't know. And so for continuity's sake, if we need to get the entire one summary of the whole entire year into one report, I guarantee you, Gary and I are going to need to be able to have it to like the soonest it's the 12th. And if we do want it as a whole year, or if we're going to want to do it as just a December numbers, we need to know either way so we can make sure our teams pull it that way. So I'm not sure really. I think John and Maureen, it's really your call as the chairs, because technically it says an annual report, right? In it, even though we've been doing it monthly. So I think that's something for internal for you guys to make that decision on it. My gut's telling me we should probably do a roll up because that's what it says in the policy, in the bill language, I should say, but we have been doing more every month. So I don't know.
So that really boils down to, do we want, we're on schedule. So we right now, if we try to remain on schedule, we will be voting on the final report on Monday, the 29th, or Tuesday, the 30th. Or we can ask for an extension. Again, I don't have an opinion either way. We did ask for an extension last year. And if it's for cause, I don't see a big deal doing that. Or we could just have information minus December. So if anyone has any comments on that, Jonathan?
Diane, you used the term roll up. I don't know what roll up means.
Well, we got every single month we've submitted to y'all, right? So we have 10 reports we've already done. I mean, it's basically taking all those and rolling those up with the number count, but versus, because we've been giving it to every month, right? The reports. It's just taking all that data and putting it into one summation report. That's basically what it is. You're taking the annual number for everything.
That's what you mean by roll up?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what we did last year. I know we got an extension, but I don't know if we got an extension and then you put, oh, but we didn't have a full year anyway at that point.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
So what you could do, Maureen and Jonathan, you could, say, here's the summation of all the data, but for 11 months, not 12 months, because obviously.
Yeah.
12
And
months.
that's what I'm thinking. It might be because you can, and you'll still get the December report in January when we meet, because we have to, right? But you can show, here's the whole year's reports that we've sent in, and just put it as part of the report itself, because here you go. You got the whole year's, except for December numbers, because we have to wait for the end of December. If you need that, it's really up to you guys, because you are getting the data. You have the data. You have our summations. You have the actual report each month. I just didn't know, because literally the easiest way to do it is just calculate all those and put them in one if they want just one summary. But it wouldn't be December yet anyways. If we needed December, then it would have to go into January until we're able to get the closeout numbers and accuracy, because December's a hairy month, and then going into the new year is always a challenge to get all that type of data points.
I think it'd be reasonable to just go with 11 months, explain that. Also, of course, we can't just unilaterally delay the report. We'd have to ask permission.
And I would say you got all 11, and I think Brianne, if she's on the phone, you have all the reports, so you can literally just print those off or put them as addendums into the report itself. Like, here you go, here's the summary from the two main companies, and make a note that you don't have the other ones, but you got the majority.
Yep. David.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we allowed to add that December's numbers after the fact? Is that something that, like an addendum as described, is that we can do that, right?
Well, and I don't see why we couldn't just add the December numbers, David, when we give it to you guys, and just add it to that report. Like, here, we'll give you the December appendix once it's finalized, or something of that nature. I mean, that's really up for Jonathan and Maureen to dictate, but we're being compliant to what the rules are, basically, because
Yeah, I was curious what the two co-chairs think, because they're doing a lot of the work behind the scenes, and what do you both think about it?
I mean, my preference is to get the report in by the end of the year and not have to ask for an extension. And I think we would have to I would ask the question of Brianne on the legislative side if it's okay to add that addendum with the December report after we've submitted the report. If that's okay, as far as the
So
process goes, that would be,
as far as I know, that is fine. You'll still
okay.
submit the report on time and it will be distributed and posted. Everyone will
Mhm.
receive it. And then later you can be like, here's an addendum to that report. It's also here now.
Okay, perfect.
I
So,
can confirm and make sure it's okay, but as far as I know, it is.
Okay.
so would we have to technically vote on that, or can we just put that in without voting on it?
I think you should be able to put it in, David, without voting
Yeah.
on it, because it's kind of written out that way. And all we just need to maybe make a notation in there, like December notes, December monthly report, December numbers will come as another attachment, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really just a yearly report, and then I mean, we can say a year could be January to or November to November to see, but that's not what it's written out. So I think just because you already have all of it, they can see it. They can see month over month how we did, which might be more important to the legislators versus a 1 year roll up anyways, right? Because we're all focused on the month to month improvements and stuff. So I think that might be more eye opening anyways for the legislators when they look at it versus here's a report. What does that mean?
Well, that's great. We will add that on as an addendum. That would be great. Okay, and moving along, we had some amendments come in. Can we put those up on the screen, or can someone share their screen
Give me
and
one
show
moment
them?
and I'll share that.
Yeah. Oh, great. Thank you.
This is the
And-
file that I received
So,
from Joe, right?
yeah.
Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Yes.
And it's the correct document?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Joe, or does someone from the advocates want to just explain this quickly? I mean, it's kind of straightforward, but okay, nobody.
Sheldon, can you do it?
Yeah, I'll jump in there and
Okay.
it's just adding a little bit of language to there was only I think 7 of them, right? Um that needed to be adjusted. And just to make it not quite so restrictive of language. I don't know, Sheldon, you want to add a little bit more detail?
Well, in the discussions, there was completely inoperable. It's obvious why that's a top priority, and if it can't be fixed timely, people need an option if it's doable. But it was also pointed out you could have something, and people expressed examples of this, where it's not completely inoperable. It's still functioning, motors are working, whatever, but it's really dangerous. I mean, it's, it can operate it and then, break your leg. I mean, it's really situations like that where, it's an unsafe condition and effectively it's inoperable because you wouldn't use that. It would be too dangerous to use it. That was the thinking on that one.
Okay. Do we want to go through all of these as a group and just and vote on these as a group or separately? I personally think that we can, unless we have objections, we can just vote the amendments as a group.
I think
What-
if it's coming from the advocacy's feedback that was there originally, do you even need to vote?
That would be a Brienne question. I don't know if for amendments, would we have to vote them in?
Because
Or
this is still, it's your
No.
guys' wording to begin with. These are
It's-
your recommendations. You just
You
wanted to
can vote
clarify your
if
wordage.
you'd like, but it's
Okay,
not a
vote.
requirement.
Okay. Well, do we have any objections then to any of the amendments?
Just to clarify, I mean,
Sure.
there may be people who do not agree with this recommendation at all. So there, it's a little awkward, I guess, for people who are opposed to the recommendation, how to vote on an amendment
Well,
to it.
I'm abstaining.
Okay.
I already
Oh,
gave
that's
my
fine.
votes in writing on all of these earlier today, so
On the amendments?
not on these, but the phrasing to me is not all that different than what was already there. I got the intent.
Okay. I'm gonna quickly, if it's okay, just quickly
Yeah,
hammer this in case there's
definitely.
any.
Yep.
So the overnight delivery was changed to expedited delivery because, the reality is that not everything has to be, even if it's urgent, it doesn't be overnight. And there was a recognition to be a little more reasonable there, so that's why that was changed. The thing about having to provide links to consumers after this communication, the thought as well, that's a little much to ask, and so that would only be upon request, that would have to be given. So some of these things were actually to make them less, the thinking was to make them less onerous for the companies, just to let everybody know. Um, and number 8 was that basically this was the issue of upon completion of the repair, there should be, some summary of the timelines that occurred. And it was recognized that some people who use wheelchairs, like everybody, but that it's going to work. They don't do electronic, for example. They just don't. Or the other way around. And so it should be and was changed to or and then as requested by the consumer. The next one, this was discussed with others, and there was this recognition that in Connecticut state law, it is common whenever there's a disclosure requirement, which is what this recommendation includes. Whenever there's a disclosure requirement, um, there's some requirements on it in terms of what the language looks like, and that's because of a history, unfortunately, of some companies, doing micro print. You can't read the disclosure, so that's why these statutes have evolved to sort of regulate it. And this was taken from just one of them, just to explain what that is about. Next one, um, uh, this was a recognition that there might be a situation where this recommendation to service the devices provided by a competitor in Connecticut, if you yourself sell it, what about if the manufacturer is restricting though? If the manufacturer is saying, yeah, but you can only go to that company or whatever, that it'd be unreasonable to override that or try to override that. So that was an attempt to soften it somewhat. I think there was just one more, right? Oh, right. And this was, we had said this in our comments on it, but we realized, oh, maybe we should put it in language that this is not a determination that there's a issue with the data being provided, and therefore there's a concern about the accuracy, and therefore the underlying data is raw data is being requested, redacted, of course. Who's deciding that? And it wasn't clear. We had always intended, but we thought we should make it clear that that determination of whether or not there's a reasonable basis would be made by the council, and the council would be the one, to ask for that underlying data.
Okay. And so are we okay to move on with those amendments? We don't have any objections. Okay, I think we're good to accept the amendments and yeah, just to acknowledge that the advocates have been trying to come up with you know to work with other council members and come up with something that's more palatable for everyone. So I do appreciate that effort. Okay, so moving on to the voting, I did send out an email. I try to break this down into groups. Does this make sense to everyone to vote this way, or should we go just down the line and vote for each one? I'm trying to make it easier, but now I understand that the numbers are all mixed up, so it might actually be more confusing for people. The first recommendations are the ones that affect DSS. I think that would be a little bit helpful. And the first three have some of your recommendations, Diane, interspersed with ours. So I don't know if we're okay to vote in these groups and we have to vote only 9 times versus 25. I'm good with either, or if anyone needs us to break this down further, speak now.
Can you show the groups down the page, please? Is it really grouping when there's only one thing there?
No, but
I'm kind of confused by that, but okay.
it's just based on the responses that I received. So yeah. So that it was just one item that someone might vote differently on.
Can I ask sorry, I was speaking without
Yeah.
raising my hand. What's the organization? I mean,
They're really besides keeping the DSS or not DSS, but the ones that might affect DSS, I put those at the top, but it's just based on the responses and what people said that they would be voting on, which way they'd be voting. So as far as the advocates, well, the advocates are so Diane's recommendations fall into the first 3 groups. And Becky,
Oh, I just had a question. Could you show number 5? Is it broken out into 2 now?
there's
Oh, I
4
saw
of that.
I saw one that was an A and B. I'm wondering what that
Oh.
was when it. Not
Are
this
there
one.
two-
this
I'm
thing.
Are
not
there
a big
2 group
fan
4s?
of how this is broken up, to be honest with you. It's a bit confusing because I don't know what group 5
Thanks.
means. I don't know what group 1 means. I don't know what.
Yeah,
think
it was just we can just go through the list of 25 and just vote down. What happened
was-
last year is that we were all pretty much voting together, except with a couple exceptions. This year we have a lot of exceptions, and so I just try to break it out. And I understand it's confusing, so we could just vote. It'd probably be quicker to vote the 25 times.
I had just thought I saw one number that was broken out into A and B. Is there one on that list? Because I hadn't reviewed the list ahead of time, but maybe there isn't. Maybe I just read it.
No,
really
but I
fast.
see group 4.
Okay.
There's 2 group 4s. I was just
Oh.
trying to get this out before the meeting, so and I was busy this morning. So what do you guys think? Maybe just to go through the list of 25 one by one?
I
I
think
mean,
the
I
one,
did, like I said, I did give you my votes already, so I don't know. I mean, long as mine's recorded, I mean, I'm the minority here, so.
Maureen, we appreciate your effort. I think it just might be easier to just go
I think
down
so
to
too. I think
25.
so too. Brianne, do you have the numbered list? I think that would be easiest. And that's just
Yes, I'll switch to that one.
yes, thank you. Shirley. You're muted.
So sorry. I had a whole spiel that I already shared. Because I'm representing the state agency, I will need to abstain from the vote. So I just wanted to put that on record. I'm still
Okay.
here. This is not any comment on the efficacy of anything that's being represented today, but I will be abstaining.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So we have recommendation number 1, payer should cover repair technician travel to and from consumer homes. All in favor? Oh, everyone needs to be unmuted.
Aye.
Call for those buttons.
All opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
I
abstain.
Okay, so could I just have ayes again? Who's in favor? Diane? Okay, all right, so this does not pass. Second, payer should cover preventive maintenance of wheelchairs. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain?
Aye.
Okay, number
Yes,
2 pass.
abstains.
Yep. Number 2 passes. Number 3, preventive maintenance of backup equipment. All in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Thing.
And
This one does not pass. Moving the legislative group to annually or quarterly and adding members to the council from the industry. All in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed?
Opposed.
And abstain.
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 Okay, this one does not pass. Number 5, loaner wheelchair to be provided. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain.
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 Okay, this passes. Okay, Medicaid, could you scroll it down a little bit? Thanks. Medicaid paying for overnight shipping. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And abstain.
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 Okay, this one passes. Number 7, all calls should have follow-up written correspondence with a summary. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And abstain.
Abstain.
Okay, this passes. Number 8, consumers should be sent timeline data at the time of completion of the repair. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Call for vote 10.
Opposed? And abstain.
Abstain.
This recommendation passes. Number 9, emergency repair services. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And abstain. Thanks, Brianne. Number 10, wheelchair supplier to disclose to the consumers the basics of the law. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? And abstain.
So, yeah, I mean.
Okay, this one passes. Number 11, enforcement of the 10-day business day requirement. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed?
I mean, like, too.
And abstain. Okay, number 12. Sorry, I'm getting a little cross-eyed. Oh, the sunsetting of the council. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstain. Okay, that passes. Number 13, the requirement that wheelchair suppliers provide wheelchair repairs from chairs from other companies. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Okay, that passes. This is about in-home, disclosing the availability of in-home repairs versus in-shop. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Passes. On the requirement that the wheelchair suppliers give redacted raw data in the event that there's a question of the data integrity. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, that recommendation passes. Number 16, consumers should be able to track the status of a repair request online or by app. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Abstain? Okay, number 17, uniform training of all new technicians. All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye, and this is, should be noted that this is, non-legislative.
Thank you. Opposed? And abstention. Okay. Number 18, this passes. Number 18, there should be 2 voting members from the industry, one from each of the 2 largest companies. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. That passes. Okay, number 19. Oh, this is just to put the for the monthly reports to be in the statute. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, 20. Each wheelchair supplier should be required to designate or have a designated compliance officer. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And abstain. Okay, this passes. Number 21, this is the council will come up with a wheelchair user bill of rights. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And abstain. Okay, this passes. 22, the wheelchair company should designate a contact in Connecticut. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain?
I have a
Oh,
question.
yeah.
So since I already sent my votes over in writing, I just want to make sure Brianne puts that in there and matches up. And because there was also comments part of that, would that be going into the addendum? That's a question I had.
I have your comments from the survey, and I can add your comments. Yep, I can do that. I can add those.
Please and
to-
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Where were we? Sorry.
Number 22, I think.
22. And I'm sorry, could we just start that over? So the contact for Connecticut, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yep. Opposed? And abstain. Okay, this passes. 23, wheelchair suppliers should provide reports to the council about the complaints that they receive. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstain. Okay. 24, wheelchair suppliers to stock their vehicles with parts and tools. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstain? Okay, this passes. And the the discussion about COLA. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
And abstain.
Thing.
Okay. All right, so that was quick. That was quick.
We got
Yeah,
through it.
Sheldon.
Yeah, a couple things regarding voting. The first is I wasn't sure if Michelle's votes were being recorded because Michelle's nonverbal, and so I don't know how that was being handled or is being handled. And the second thing is I do have, and I'm sorry I didn't say this at the beginning, I have the proxy from Vera who couldn't be here. I can just quickly tell you that they were yay votes on all recommendations, including, the amended versions, except for 1, 3, and 4, which is consistent with the majority vote, I think, on those 3. And then I had 2 comments after we addressed the voting thing.
Okay, so the votes, people were raising their hands, so I just looked at the hand raising.
Okay. So
Yeah,
it
other
wasn't
people
just-
were raising their hands
wasn't just
too.
vocally aye, it was also, okay.
Yeah, I just took the votes, but I don't know if that mattered that people weren't. Some people were just raising their hands, or some people were raising their hand and saying something. So I just took
Okay.
the.
Okay.
And your other comment?
Well, I said about the voting, I want to make sure that Farah's votes were recorded.
Okay.
And
I
as I
don't think
said,
we're recording individual votes because we
oh,
would have done a roll call vote that way.
okay.
I mean, you could enter it maybe into the record, the email. I don't know if it even matters or not.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I'm sorry. I thought, individual votes were being noted. I should have realized they were not being, but
That would have taken a little bit
it
longer.
would have taken longer. Yeah.
That's correct, Brienne, right? Because we would have had to
That
do
is
roll call.
correct.
Yeah,
I
okay.
did make some extra notes, but
Okay.
you don't, you have to do roll call for each individual to be recorded.
There's a lot of background noise. I can't hear what's going on.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And so but my two things, one was, Joe pointed this out in one of them, but that many of the recommendations are non-legislative, and what the advocates mean anyway, who had proposed it, is that it's basically for further discussion within the council. These are, and some of them are admittedly vague, like uniform training of techs, what is that? But it's basically, it was a recommendation that needs further hopefully get to some kind of consensus within the council. And the second thing is that the advocates had asked in their comments that those recommendations which do pass, which cost money, which I think for the state, which I think is the preventative maintenance to the extent of Medicaid, and overnight or expedited shipping to the extent of Medicaid, those do have some cost. And the recommendation from the advocates was that the report recommend that if there's legislation or if there's a bill, it should be divided. So there should be a bill on things that'll have a fiscal note, like those two, and other things that we think, presumably would not have fiscal notes, or more just requirements imposed on the industry or OHA or something that would be absorbed. But I wasn't sure that was in I just want to point out those were in our survey responses, and I'm not sure that's not a specific recommendation, yes or no. We already voted on the recommendations, but sort of just an overall recommendation that we suggest that there be that breakdown.
So you're asking for this to be in the report?
Yes.
Okay.
And I guess
In the record.
and to that extent, does this require a vote? I guess is the thing that I'm raising.
Yeah, Brian?
Could you clarify the question of, does what require a vote?
Does the recommendation from it's not one of the 25 recommendations, it was in the comments from the advocates, that those recommendations of the 25 that cost money should be in a separate bill. If there's going to be legislation, should be in a separate bill than the other ones. That's the non-substantive recommendation. And my question is, does that require a vote?
That does not require a vote.
Does not require a vote.
No.
Okay.
And also just remember, we're going into a short session, so bills can only be submitted by the committee.
Right. So it'd be a recommendation that there be two committee bills, basically.
Yeah, so you can make that recommendation, but I don't think you need to vote to make that recommendation. You can just mention it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I think thank you again, everyone, for your time. Thank you, Brienne. I think what we're gonna do, we have the reports from industry and from OHA, and they're gonna come in by Friday the 19th. I expect to have that report out to you by the 19th, if not sooner, so people can look at it, give any recommendations of changes. And then we will vote on the final report. Again, I think it's going to have to be the 29th or the 30th of December, because people are going to need some time to look at the report. If I can get it before then, I will. We're not specifically voting on the industry reports or OHA's reports. We're not voting on the content of that. So even though it's part of the report, we don't really necessarily need it. It's just the content of the council, what the council is reporting. So if I can get that to you sooner, I will. But I think, again, voting, I think people are out the week before the week of Christmas. So that would leave us, unless people want to meet on the 31st, on New Year's Eve. So I don't know if anyone has any preferences. Otherwise, we'll just let you know when the next meeting's going to be.
I'm unavailable on the 31st. I'm off on vacation, so I won't be available for that day.
Okay.
But I could do it the 29th or the 30th for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's best. Okay, well, we'll do that, and I'll be in touch with everyone, and thank you so much for all your time. I wish you all very safe and happy holidays, and we will see you for the new year. Okay, thank you so much.
Happy
Do
holidays.
we have, I guess we need a motion to adjourn, so I'll
Motion
take,
to adjourn.
thank you. Second, Michelle, and all in favor?
Bye.
Bye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Maureen, for all your work, and
Oh,
Brianne as well.
And
Thank you.
Jonathan, yes,
Jonathan.
thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate everything you've done.
Yeah,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy
All right, thanks,
holidays.
everyone.